Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good morning, I'm Will Puckett. Today is Saturday, August the 17th. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning Weekend Edition. This morning, a mother and grandmother sit in jail defending their actions. Police say they found a newborn on the floor of their minivan, surrounded by feces, bags of trash, and bugs. 66-year-old Charlotte Simpson and 32-year-old Rebecca Foltz face criminal abuse charges. Police say the child also was wearing a wet diaper and struggled to breathe. The two women talked to Garrett Weimer. They say the baby was safe.
It was here along Old Richmond Road. Investigators say they tried to pull the car over. It wasn't until after Rebecca Foltz and Charlotte Simpson were arrested. Deputies say they eventually found a 2-week-old baby boy on the floor inside, covered in a blanket.
Do you think it was dangerous for him to be where he was in the car?
No, he just had a few heat bumps on him. But that was it.
In an interview from jail, Foltz, the baby's mother, didn't exactly say why her young son wasn't in his car seat, but said he was safe. Deputies say he was found in filth with ants on his face and wearing a dirty diaper.
I think it was very fortunate that we were there to come to the rescue for that child.
Investigators say both paramedics had to take care of the baby on the way to the hospital. So a deputy who used to be a paramedic drove the ambulance.
Definitely we needed to make an arrest, and we needed to take charge of that infant and see that it got emergency care as soon as possible. It was a very dire situation, to say the least.
Deputies say thankfully the baby is doing better now after being treated for dehydration.
We told them the baby was in there.
Deputies say it was about 10 minutes before anyone said anything about the baby being in there. Is that how you remember it?
Yeah, but we were in the shade and the windows were down. Yes, they were, It was living. Why in the world?
They both say, despite the allegations against them, that Foltz is a good mother.
I treated my son good. I'm a good mom. I've never neglected him. I have always taken care of him. They told a bunch of lies.
And they both tell me they don't deserve to be behind bars. In Laurel County, Garrett Weimer, WYMT Mountain News.
Foltz and Simpson were arraigned Friday morning in Laurel District Court. We are told a preliminary hearing is scheduled for next week. Also in Laurel County, a teen leads police on a pursuit and it ends with a car fire and foot chase. We first told you about this Thursday night. Police say 18-year-old Mickey Wayne Grubb led them on a long chase. It all ended when the car he was driving crashed into an embankment off of Barron Road. That's when he ran out of the car and police chased him into a nearby field.
Fortunately for us yesterday, we were very fortunate to get him in custody, nobody hurt, and the suspect arrested.
Grubbs now faces charges from both the Laurel County Sheriff's Office and Kentucky State Police. He was taken to the Laurel County Corrections Center. We start with new evidence in the investigation into whether a Greyhound bus driver was on his phone when the bus collided with the truck. This picture appears to show the driver using his phone before the accident. It happened on I-75 in Rockcastle County. Metadata or a timestamp on the photo reveals it was taken at 3:57. Calls for help after the collision went out by 4:20. Several passengers have reported seeing the driver on the phone before the crash. Kentucky State Police have been made aware of the photo. Nick Oliver breaks down the new information.
Over 24 hours later, there's still a lot that is being determined in Thursday's Greyhound bus crash that sent 17 people to hospitals around the region. But since that chaotic scene, this photo taken by someone a short time before that crash appears to show the driver, Vincent Watts, using a cell phone.
A few people including me, saw him on his phone.
Shortly after that crash, we spoke with Taylor McClain. She was in the second row. She says from the moment Watts entered the bus, she noticed the phone.
I can't say I'm 100% sure at the time of the crash, but a few minutes before I glanced up and I saw him on his phone.
And she's not alone. This woman who was on the bus says she saw the same thing.
Holding it on the steering wheel, and it was between his two hands, and he was holding the steering wheel and the phone at the same time.
So what are the rules? As a driver of this large bus, Watts does hold a commercial driver's license. But that title comes with restrictions when it comes to phone usage. According to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, those restrictions include not holding the phone to talk or call. That includes pressing buttons. Calls must be hands-free. If caught, it comes with a nearly $2,800 fine and $11,000 fine to the company. We asked Greyhound if they have seen the photo. A short time ago, they replied saying, quote, consistent with our protocol, the driver is currently out of service as Greyhound conducts its own internal investigation. In Rockcastle County, Nick Oliver, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, officials say they are taking a close look at the possibility of Watts using a cell phone while driving. That bus was traveling from Atlanta to Cincinnati when it crashed. Well, it's 7:40 on this Saturday. Let's check in with meteorologist Kelly McShane. And Kelly, the sunrise this morning was absolutely gorgeous. And we're going to have to hang on to that hope because it's going to be a scorcher today and tomorrow.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This morning was as good as it's going to get for a while. Beautiful sunrise and those temperatures pretty comfortable right now. But overall, we are going to be feeling the heat very soon. Over into Whitesburg, good morning to you folks over in Letcher County. Not too bad with the fog situation, so definitely starting off on a calm note. Satellite and radar really not showing too much to talk about. Just a few passing clouds here and there. And those temperatures, like I said, on the more comfortable side right now, lower to mid 60s, a few upper 60s, but boy, we will be feeling the heat by the time we get to this afternoon. I'll have those temperatures and all those details in just a little bit, Will.
All righty, Kelly, we'll be back with you. Well, while the Black Jewel protest continues into its third week in Cumberland, several miners with the company attended an information session in Letcher County to find out what happens next. WYMT's Lauren McCourt talked with one miner who says he just wants to get back to work.
More than a month later, Black Jewel miners are still left with no pay.
This is a huge hit for Eastern Kentucky and the coal fields.
They continue to search and pray for answers.
But, any news is good news.
After the hearing in West Virginia earlier this month, many who are working on the case say there may be a sign of hope.
He wanted to let them know basically that, it's not as dire as a lot of people say, that things are looking up.
But until then, they ask for the miners just to hang tight because they still have a long road ahead.
We really want to do everything we can to try to help people to smooth the transition as much as possible.
Several of the miners have received proof of claim forms, but lawyers say not to fill those out.
That's basically been taken care of them by the lawyers.
And if your 401k has more than $1,000, you have roughly 30 days to retrieve that money, or it will be transferred into a new retirement fund.
And that there may be some relief for them coming, we hope soon.
A lot of the miners are depending on support from others and the generosity of the community.
She's picked up a lot of slack for me, and we've, a lot of people have been generous and helped.
And though they are thankful,
there's not many jobs available as far as coal mining goes, so we really don't have many choices.
They just want to get back to work. In Letcher County, Lauren McCourt, WYMT Mountain News.
The lawyers representing the miners say each miner is covered in this court case because their class action was approved. Well, check this story out. Two people spent 53 years of their life without meeting their siblings. That all changed for Jim Lawless and Tracy Walton when a DNA test came back as a match on Ancestry.com. Jim traveled from Houston, Texas, all the way to Jackson County, Kentucky to meet his sister for the very first time. He explains how their first interaction went over the phone.
I said, can I speak to Tracy? This is her. And I said, this may sound strange, but my name's Jim Lawless. I live in Houston, Texas, and my wife gave me a DNA test for Father's Day, and I sent it in, and it says you're my sister.
The two spent a lot of time talking, looking at photo albums, and catching up on the past 53 years. Tracy Walton says she and her husband will be making a trip to Houston to visit her brother in the future. Family and friends of Shaylee Cobb gathered on the Pike Central football field yesterday afternoon to honor her memory. Cobb died last month after a battle with leukemia. The group held a moment of silence for Shaylee and then released balloons. Many of them tied notes about her. Her mother says she was always kind and will be missed by the entire community. She says the support the family received from the school and the community was more appreciated than they will ever know.
And they give us a great amount of support during the months that she was sick. So it means a tremendous amount.
Muncie says she hopes Shaylee's story will increase awareness for bone marrow donation, which she says could potentially save anyone who finds themselves in Shaylee's situation. Hundreds of thousands of dollars will help turn one old shopping center into new homes in Perry County. It is all part of a community block grant. WYMT's Lacey Roberts talked with city officials about what is to come.
Just outside of downtown Hazard, this lot has been vacant for quite some time.
Where we had once thriving shopping center here, it's in decay now.
This is what the inside of the building looks like now.
So we're very fortunate to get this grant, and we're hoping to turn it into a nice, thriving community again.
The city is partnering with the Housing Development Alliance on this project to help bring a breath of fresh air to the community.
We're actually going to construct the 15 units, the 15 homes that are going to get sold to low-income families.
Since the demolition began on condemned properties in the county, having this one be a part of something new means a lot.
So you take something that's kind of an eyesore and you turn it into a community asset.
An asset that will bring more life to a dead space at a lower cost.
The houses we're going to build are going to be modest in size, but they're going to be highly energy efficient and super well built, so they're easy to maintain.
Where families will have low utility costs, a community effort City Commissioner Luke Glazer is proud to be a part of.
I think the key word there is community. This grant was put together and worked on by the city, working with the state, and we are working with local entities like the Housing Development Alliance to make this happen.
A new community that 15 families will soon call home.
Again, that was Lacey Roberts reporting. A date has not yet been set on when demolition will begin, but we will, of course, keep you informed over on our website at WYMT.com. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky is recovering after his surgery on his shoulder. A spokesperson says the senator had the operation Thursday in Louisville. This comes after Senator McConnell fell and broke his shoulder at his Louisville home earlier this month. His office says the surgery happened, quote, without incident. Kentucky's unemployment rate is up slightly, but still lower than 1 year ago. The State Center for Statistics says the jobless rate was 4.3% last month. In June, it sat at 4.1%. Officials say the manufacturing and business services sectors added jobs. Declines happen in the hospitality and mining industries. Still to go on Mountain News This Morning Weekend Edition. The U.S. Customs computer system suffered an outage for hours across North America last night. And later, we will check in with Jason Lindsay to see what he is working on for us in this morning's Hooked on Science segment.
Temperatures are on the rise as we head into the weekend. Just how hot will we get? I'll have those details coming up next.